Greetings, I'm Dr. Warren Smedley, and today we're going to talk about a specific formula for how you can motivate others based on a lesson you've learned. We talked in previous videos about different purposes or reasons to have presentations. And you have to understand your audience, you have to understand the purpose of your presentation. In this case, our purpose is to get someone to take a specific action, and we're going to base that action on a personal experience that we've had ourselves. So you would use this technique, the STAR technique that we're going to highlight for you here in a minute, when you need someone or some group of people to take a specific action. An example might be you need to change a workflow. Perhaps you've had a change to your electronic medical record, or there's been some other workflow change and you need people to adopt it and understand it. Perhaps you need to document a task better. Perhaps documentation of a certain task is not being done, or perhaps you have a new task or new information that needs to be documented and you need people to get on board. Perhaps it's the end of the year and you need people to complete their benefit enrollment on a timely basis. Perhaps you have trouble getting people to turn their reports in on time and we need to get them to do that. These would be examples. So the formula is called the STAR formula. We're going to be a star when presenting our ideas. And it's a simple formula. It works this way. We're going to use a personal experience, a story that drives home the point of the lesson that we've learned and why we believe that our listeners should follow our advice. Start immediately with the story. It's usually a time opener of some kind. Jump right straight into it. Please do not start this technique with a preamble saying, in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you about some interesting story that I've had. Nope, just jump straight into it. Tell our story. And then when we get done with our story, we're going to give our listeners a specific action to take. It's the advice we want them to learn from our experience. And we're going to finish with a reason why they should follow our advice, a benefit that they'll receive if they follow our advice. Works kind of like this. We're going to start with a time opener, then tell our story. Story shouldn't be very long. When we get to the end of the story, we're going to give specific advice, a specific action we would like our listener or listeners to take, and then close with a reason why they should take our advice. Ideally, there's a benefit. If they take our advice, they're going to have some kind of a benefit. For example, in 2016, our organization was struggling with long delays in filling specialty pharmacy prescriptions. We had recently, within the last couple of years, stood up a specialty pharmacy, and we were very excited about it. But we were still working out a lot of the different glitches and things in coordinating that between the clinicians, prescribing clinicians, and the pharmacy. The physicians would write their script, send it to specialty pharmacy, and it was taking an unreasonably long period of time to get that prescription filled for the patient. We couldn't figure out what the problem was. We were struggling. We couldn't figure it out. Everyone seemed to be doing the right thing. And then one of my friends looked at me and he said, have you taken all of the stakeholders in the process, everyone involved, the ordering physician, the pharmacist, the pharm techs, the nurses, everyone involved in the process, put them in a room together and ask them to map out the process just to see maybe there's something will come out that will be an alert to why we may be having these delays. And I had one of those aha moments where I said, oh my goodness, I've got a master's degree in quality. I should know better than that. That's a basic quality tool, quality improvement tool. And mapping out a process chart is very simple, but it's a basic quality tool. So I pulled all the stakeholders together. We mapped it out, and the tool, the mapping this out, actually showed us that at that time, no one actually owned the prescription once it was sent to pharmacy. Pharmacy went to fill it. No one owned the prior authorization process. So it would go to the pharmacy. Pharmacy would have to go through the prior authorization, and the insurance company would ask for information. The pharmacy would send that request back to the clinic. The clinic would wait until they had a chance to answer the question, look at the electronic medical record. They'd send the answer back, and we'd go through that cycle 3 or 4 times, and it was taking a couple of weeks sometimes to fill an order. When we realized that, we actually had a recommendation to designate one of the farm techs to actually take ownership of the prior authorization process. And they took over that, and now it's become standard practice in many organizations for a farm tech or someone like that to take ownership of the prescription, walk that prescription through the prior authorization process. They have access to the medical record, access to the clinical team, and get that resolved quickly. It usually takes 24 hours or less to get that through the process. What we learned from this was to use the basic tools, stop and think, and use the basic quality improvement tools. So the action I'd like you to take is to use your basic quality tools when you have a process that needs to be improved. Map out the process, look for gaps or problems in the process. When you do that, you will find that the quality tools that you already have in your toolbox will help you solve the problem. Thank you.